Melinda and Brittany here with your top tip for the week. What are we going to go over, Brittany? We're going to go over 3 easy ways to stop binge eating at night.
Yes. And most importantly, we're going to talk about the binge cycle, because it's a cyclical thing where you feel stressed out and then you binge eat. Then you get anxiety and stress because you binge ate and you don't even have time to work out extra and work it off. Mm-hmm. Then you binge eat some more. Then you feel bad. Mm-hmm. Then you're tired and worn out. Then you eat again. And so it's this whole never-ending cycle that we are attempting to stop.
Right, exactly. And so that type of anxiety typically happens with nighttime overeating.
Well, that's typically when people overeat.
Right.
Usually they don't start out their day and like shovel it in and be like,
most clients don't
I
do
effed
that.
Up already.
Right. Most clients don't do that.
Right.
So, but we're really talking about, we want to address the nighttime binge eating that most people do.
Yeah.
Some of the reasons that binge eating will actually start to occur, people will go all day without eating a lot. They might be following a strict diet. Maybe you're on a diet and you're saying, well, I'm not really that hungry, so I'm just going to skip this meal and skip my snack and even skip lunch. And so they might take in 300 or 400 calories for the day. And that is a really, really, really low amount of calories. Mm-hmm. So then by the time you get home, now you're ready to eat the entire refrigerator. You're just eating,
it's ravenous,
boxes of croutons because your food's not done being cooked or whatever.
Or, it was peanut butter out of the jar.
Yep, exactly.
And way too much because you're starving.
Yep. And so you're shoveling so many calories in such a short amount of time. And that type of binge eating is actually horrible to do. Especially in the evening. So too rigid of a diet. That's reason number 1 that most people binge eat at night. So you really want to make sure, unless you're doing some type of IEC, intermittent eating cycle, or a intermittent fast, if you just skip meals and you're eating regular carbs, you're really going to be starved because you're not using ketones for fuel. So you're really going to be starved, and it's just going to cause a ton of weight gain. So you really want to be careful of that. In the evening, when we go all day without eating, our willpower is lower in the evening, and so it's very difficult for the brain to fight binge eating in the evening. When you haven't had enough food in your body, it starts to trigger you to go into feast mode. And so that's exactly why you want to not do that. You want to really measure out your calories through the day. Eat your couple snacks, eat your meals, so your final meal of the day is actually in that 500 to 700 calorie range, and it's definitely not too late and triggering you to binge.
Okay. Issue number 2 is something that a lot of people struggle with, but they don't even know it's a real thing.
And so what is that?
This would be decision fatigue. That's what I call it.
Okay, decision fatigue.
So this is, whether you're a super busy mom and you're running around all day after your kids, or you're a super busy executive at work, or periods of our work life that we've been through, when you have 60 little work kids that are coming to you constantly, knocking on your door and asking you questions, you don't realize a lot of times how many decisions you're making during the day because you just do it
and do it for other people.
Well, you do it for everyone, and whatever comes up, you just handle that shit. But it actually creates a state of decision fatigue. So this is another good reason why it's good to do like a little 5-minute meditation, or even just, I've noticed I do this when I go home, I will just like sit in like a sensory deprivation state. So I want no music on, I want no TV on, I want no phone around me, and I just want to sit on my couch and have nothing going on and just kind of calm down and decompress for a second. So what happens when you're in this overstimulated, overly decisive state, you just make decision, and you actually get decision fatigue, so that by the time you get home or you go to a restaurant, you say, I don't even know what I want to eat, I can't think straight anymore, I have all these other thoughts racing through my head, and then you end up like making a poor decision, or just being so tired and worn out that you're like, F it, I'm just gonna pick the first thing that comes up on the menu list, or eat Oreos because they're right there when you walk in the door.
And you're too hungry usually.
And you're too hungry. So these are things that just compound. But just recognize that decision fatigue is a real thing, and the busier you are during your day, the more that this is going to be impacting you and your decisions on what to eat at the end of the day, and whether you end up binging or not.
It sure is.
All right. Third thing is sleep. And so this is something that a lot of people don't realize. They're staying up at night eating, And then their body can't actually get a really good night's rest. And then because your body's busy digesting all this food while you're asleep, you're not in the fat burning zone as long. And your body's also not able to repair and do its job of the things it's supposed to do at night while you sleep.
Because the digestive system is so
Exactly.
aggressive.
So there's an order of events of the things that happen while you sleep. First, your body finishes digesting whatever's in your stomach. Second, it repairs whatever it needs to repair in your body. And this is also skin and collagen and elastin and all those anti-aging things. So there's a vanity aspect to this too. And then third, your body is going to burn excess body fat off. So if you're binging and eating a ton of calories right before you go to sleep, it's going to store it all, and it's not going to get into the fat burning zone while you're sleeping, which is ideally what you want to do.
Yeah.
Then also, if you don't get enough sleep at night, then you're tired during the day. You're eating because you're tired. You're eating sugar usually to try to get that energy spike, that insulin spike. And then if you're tired and worn out, we've already talked about what happens when you get home at the end of the day. So it just like compounds that whole situation and makes it even worse.
Yep, exactly. All right, so recap. Number 1, don't restrict too many calories during your workday. Number 2, number 2 was not enough self-care.
Which is decision fatigue. Don't get into a decision fatigue state. Take a break.
And then number 3 is you're not getting enough sleep because you're eating too late before you go to bed.
Yes, exactly.
And that's a really big one right there. Okay, so that kind of wraps up. So if you struggle at night with overeating, try to really prepare differently. So
here's another trick. So I have a client, so I put together like this before and after of her, and she lost like 30 pounds at that point. And she took that and she printed it off and she put it on her fridge.
Okay.
So that when she gets home, she stays focused, like eyes on the prize. Good. Like, hey, this is what we're working on. This is what we're, trying to get an even better after picture for, and don't go back to that fat before state.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. Peace out.